Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 66 of the Galactic Window Space Podcast. My name is Nick, and sometimes when I reminisce about the good times, I am known as the Orbital Alliance.
And I am Tan, also known as Chasing the Milk.
That's right, and we are back for another episode of this Space and Astronomy Podcast. If you're brand new with us, welcome. We hope that you are able to take away a little bit of something about the night sky while you listen or watch the show. This is going to be a good one. We're doing another one of our deep dives into space multimedia, if that's maybe what we're calling the series. This is the second episode we're going to do that for, and we're very excited to venture to the red planet with the Martian.
That's right. Guys, we're going to Mars. We're going to Mars.
Are going to Mars. It's gonna be a good time. We appreciate those of you who are tuning in live on YouTube currently, and those of you who are listening in after the fact, maybe on the audio version of the show. Whatever your choice, we're glad you're here. And be sure to leave a comment with something that maybe you take away from this episode as you listen or watch. That'd be awesome to hear what you guys are thinking about.
Great intro as always, Nick. Good to see everyone in the chat here. Hello, everyone that's live. Hello. And if you are listening, hello to you as well. Like Nick said, tonight we're going to be doing another dive onto a movie. This is something that we just started doing. This is our second time. And this one is one of our favorites. And hopefully you guys had a chance to watch it. If you didn't, just a heads up, we are going to be talking about it. So here is your spoiler alert. Mm-hmm. But if you did watch it, or if you have watched it before, just know that you're in the club. And we can talk about it together. So as always, grab a drink, grab some snacks, and let's dive in.
Hey, really quick though, Tan, I got to ask you, this was a really big weekend because you are, after all, Mr. Meteor Shower, and I think you're a resident expert on the topic. What were the Geminids like? Did you experience the Geminids? Were your skies clear?
Yeah, man, I'm still recovering from that night. The Geminids are one of my favorite showers, and this year did not disappoint. So I headed out about an hour away from home with some friends. And it just so happened that particular night was the coldest. It probably will be the coldest of the month. So we were sitting around 6 degrees Fahrenheit with like a negative 10, 11 wind chill. So it was cold. But the Geminids did not disappoint. They were producing. My friends got there about an hour earlier than I did. And they left around the 5-hour mark and saw more than 1,000 shooting stars.
Yo,
insane. Record for everyone. I streamed it and we caught 200 plus, and these are the ones that we caught. There were so many there. That number is probably just so far off because it was just happening every few seconds. Jeez. And I realized, you do lose a lot. You have limitations with your camera, right? Because you are looking at just a very narrow region of the sky. But anytime I stepped out and I looked up, in all areas, all directions of the sky, they were popping. So here's your sign. If you have watched the Geminids, or if you did watch this one, hats off to you. But if you haven't, just know that every year for the month of December, you can go out and watch.
Yeah. Dude, I'm excited for you, man. So I'm glad you got to get something, considering especially here in the Midwest, the weather has been devastatingly temperamental the last couple of weeks with like one snowstorm after the other, and just perpetual gray skies. And I think all things considered, like you really like kind of got away with murder. and I'm stoked for you, man. Like, and for you and your friends and anyone else out there who got a chance to see the Geminids. I unfortunately did not see any of them, but it's such a cool thing. And December, it's like the people turn on their Christmas lights and then there are Geminids, like both of them sparkle, and light up the season.
It's one of my favorite showers, and I think it just adds a little bit to the for me personally adds a little bit to that holiday spirit. So I put that shower right up there with Christmas. So it was a nice show.
You just need a little bit of a SpaceX Starlink train to go by, and then pretend that's Santa.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was cool though. It was cool.
That's awesome, man.
Real quick, let me know in the chat if you guys got to see it. I know some of y'all probably were clouded out, but let me know if you went out and saw it. Let me know if you saw some nice meteors. Let us know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hopefully you guys did get to see something. And I hope that I get to see the chat light up with, I saw 172 fireballs go across the sky. That would be amazing. But yeah, light up the chat for us. For sure. Cool. Well, let's get into the mess. So we're going to be discussing the Martian tonight. So again, we mentioned it once, but we're going to say it one more time for those of you who maybe joined in a little bit later. This will be a spoiler-laden podcast. So if you have not seen The Martian from, I believe it's 2016, 2015, 2016, somewhere around then. Is it a 10-year-old movie now? Oh my gosh.
Let me see.
Yeah, I show 2015. So
that sounds right.
Yeah, it's a decade old. So it's one of those things where you had some time. So unfortunately, if you haven't seen it now, I think spoilers are fair. But we have also, if you're a regular in the show, we have been warning you for 3 weeks. So hopefully you've been paying attention to our announcements. But if this is your last reminder to say, hey, just maybe pause the show, go watch the movie, and then come back if you're interested in following along. So you have been warned officially. But so dude, we were thinking we should probably do a little bit of an explanation of the movie. Just a brief cover. So if you don't care about watching it, but you do want to follow along, you can at least get the gist of it. So here's the movie poster. Just going to show it right above us. So
who is that? Who's the main cast?
This is
Matt Damon.
That is Matt Damon, starring Matt Damon. It is a star-studded cast in this movie. So I'm gonna go. I actually wrote it down because I wanted to make sure we hit this point really quick. And I'm gonna be missing several of them, but Kristen Wiig, Sebastian Stan, Jeff Daniels, Kate Mara, Jessica Chastain, Sean Bean, Nick Mohammed, Benedict Wong, Donald Glover, and Michael Pena. My gosh, one after the other. Crazy all-star lineup.
Mm-hmm.
So those actors and actresses are in all sorts of films. So I have no doubt that some of you guys have heard at least of one of them, ranging from SNL to Dumb and Dumber to Ted Lasso and Doctor Strange. My gosh, they all come together to go to Mars. So
it's a nice little crew.
Pretty cool. I did have a brief description of the movie. Do you mind if I share that? So it's like a summary.
Yeah. Take it away.
Is that okay? All right. So here's the summary of the movie, and I'm going to keep it short. It's like 5 sentences. Okay. So here we go. Here's The Martian in a nutshell for y'all. During a fierce storm on Mars, the Ares 3 crew is forced to evacuate, believing that
Matt Damon
has been killed by flying debris. So, however,
Matt Damon
survives the accident and awakens to find himself stranded alone on the planet with no functioning communication to Earth.
Matt Damon
Clearly uses his botany and engineering skills to grow potatoes in the hab, produce water from hydrazine, and repair vital equipment to extend his survival. When satellite imagery reveals that
Matt Damon
is still alive, NASA scrambles to devise a rescue plan while he continues his resourceful flight against the harsh Martian environment. In a tense and daring final rendezvous,
Matt Damon
launches himself into space to meet the rescue spacecraft and ultimately returns home as an enduring symbol of human ingenuity and perseverance. So
This is what you've been
Tan's
working
like,
on all day?
He's like, "Are you done yet?"
I love it. That's a hell of an intro.
I'm sorry.
I hope you guys got that synopsis.
Oh my gosh. I don't. I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. How many
But
different
seriously,
Matt Damons did we hear?
five different Matt
5.
Damons. Yeah.
Nice.
For those of you who are curious as to what the heck you just witnessed, the movie Team America, they kind of make fun of Matt Damon, and he basically just he can't speak. He can only just say his name in a really obnoxious way. So he's just Matt Damon.
He's like a Pokemon, basically. Yeah.
It's like a Pokemon, yeah. So yeah, I've got all those queued up now on my soundboard, so y'all can suffer. But you missed it. Who's the main actor?
Matt Damon.
You're gonna need
Too
to take
good.
my soundboard away. Ron. Wait, what did Ron ask? Wait, what's his name again?
Matt Damon.
Matt who?
Matt Damon.
That one's my favorite one.
It's kind of the most general,
Yeah.
like kind of crowd pleaser, you know. Although the screaming one is kind of one of my favorite ones.
Matt Damon.
Was that it? No, it's this one.
Matt Damon.
That one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you gotta banish me from the show. Kick me off.
Oh man, you're on your own.
yeah. Yeah.
Free will, man. Use it.
Yep. All right. Anyway, back to the good stuff. So yeah, this movie's fantastic about an astronaut who gets stranded on Mars, and the crew has to cooperate with people on Earth to find a way to save him and get him off of Mars. Really, really great story. A lot of drama, tense moments, creativity, ingenuity, adventure, and also a very nice hefty spoonful of humor, which is really refreshing. There's a lot of really funny moments in this movie. So, I mean, maybe let's just kick off. Tan, what are your thoughts on The Martian just as a whole? What do you think?
Just in general.
Yeah, like what do you like it?
Yeah, it's up there. It's up there on one of my favorite space movies. I really appreciate just Matt Damon as in just his acting. And I don't know, I haven't really seen that many Martian movies. I don't know if Mars Attack counts, but yeah, I just really enjoy this. And I have, I don't know, there's something about Mars. I kind of like to fantasize about like just being on Mars. Cause like if we ever get humanity outside of Earth, it's going to be Mars. That's going to be the first one. So there's almost this, I don't know, like hopefulness. When I see any movies, regarding Mars, I'm like, well, I hope this is actually what it looks like, or I hope it can be very similar to this. So all in all, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was well written. I love the cinematography and just all the little different things that kind of just put you on your toes throughout the movie. And I felt like they wrapped up the movie pretty well. It was a good ending. It was a solid movie. I'd give it like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd say that's a fair assessment and feels pretty in line with how I feel about it as well. Like, I know it's apples to oranges. Like, you can't directly compare this movie to Interstellar, which we did a breakdown of 3 weeks ago. Was that 3 weeks? 3 weeks ago? On the show.
Sounds
so if you
right.
guys missed that one, go watch the Interstellar episode too. They're totally different movies, but space, of course, is the through line. But yeah, it's like this isn't like a genre defining film, but it is still just so well made and just a really pleasurable experience. So yeah, that warrants an 8, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And if you still haven't seen it, definitely is worth a watch for sure.
Yeah. So there's a lot to sort of break down. We kind of have a couple angles we want to take a look at with this movie. One of them being sort of just the production of it, because obviously we can't go to Mars to shoot a movie there. So like, how do we make a movie about going to the red planet and make it look real and have people in space and do all these things? Like, there's just a couple of points we thought we would cover on that side of things, and then we'll transition into a couple of those other lenses as the discussion progresses throughout the night. So the production side of things, Tan, like, what makes this movie special? What questions came up for us like as we were watching the movie, and what do we think is interesting about how they made this movie that people should know about?
Yeah. First thing that came to my head is like, where the hell did they shoot this? Like, my first thoughts were like maybe like Utah or something. Like, when I think of just red rocks, flat, I tend to gravitate towards somewhere out west, somewhere remote like Utah. But I think I'm very wrong. But very wrong about that. But yeah, that's the first thing that came to my head, is just, where the heck is the set? Like, how are they filming this? Where are they in the world?
Right, because I mean, Mars itself, the real planet, is basically an ice desert. Like, it's just sand, dirt, and frozen ice underneath it and at the poles and stuff. There's no like raging oceans and forests or anything like that. So like, yeah, it's like, yeah, where do we go? And I think you're right on the nose. Like, if I were to think about, hey, where do we go to shoot this, I would have thought Utah. Like,
Utah, Arizona, Nevada, those places.
Monument National Park, that Monuments National Park, that kind of place. It's places where there are buttes and those crazy, for those of you listening to the show, we just got gifted a very lovely super in the live chat here on the YouTube stream from our friend Sakura, dropping a $19.99 super thanks, or super chat in the stream. So huge thank you to you. Thank you very much for that support for the show.
It's orange too. Is that intentional, or are they just random? I thought it was kind of fitting.
I was going to say it's Martian flavored, but that's definitely the wrong descriptor.
What would Mars taste like?
Right. Tastes like iron, I'm sure, or rust, which is basically what it is. But yeah, so I would have thought that too. But turns out they actually shot, I think, most of the exterior scenes, the Mars outdoors, in the country of Jordan, which is pretty wild. So it turns out there's a place called the Valley of the Moon in Jordan, which
that's so cool.
Looks stunningly like Mars. It's very sandy and red. A lot of the rocky outcroppings are very similar. You got those sort of sedimentary, are they called striations? Is that what it is? Or the where's
like the little lines?
Yeah, where's Day in the chat? Where's our resident geologist to tell us
this place looks exactly like Mars. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, everyone go look it up.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
So beautiful area. So they shot it there to kind of mimic it, and of course they do a hefty amount of coloring, color correction in post-production to adjust the color scheme of the atmosphere and the sky and the look of the sand and the rocks to make it look a little bit more Martian. So but I don't think they could have really gotten away with shooting a movie like this in a volume, like they have been doing with Star Wars, or in a closed set on a soundstage. I just don't think it would have made sense. They may have gotten some portions. I almost said Martian portion. It came out as Partian. Yeah.
I like it.
I think being out in a real location, it just sells it, because you don't have to create that. You save on VFX costs, and you immerse your actor in a real environment, which is always best case scenario. So many movies that just stick actors in front of green screens or projection screens, or LED walls, like they have to imagine stuff, and that just makes their job a lot. So anyway, that's kind of where they ended up shooting it. And it sounds like they did a lot of the habitation and module shots in Hungary. So that was also a fun fact as well. So they're kind of an international crew, and I'm sure there was a lot of stuff done on sound stages in Hollywood somewhere. But
Yeah,
you know,
that's pretty cool.
mm-hmm.
That is pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah. So it's a pretty amazing movie, you know, because think about where they have to, what they have to do. So they had to do shots on Earth, you know, to show Earth, the people like NASA and JPL. Then they have to have shots on Mars, both exterior and interior. Then they have to have shots on the ship that's in space, you know, to get with the rest of the crew. Some of those are weightless scenes. Some of them are on this like kind of the rotating module, creating artificial gravity. You know, I think it's really impressive how they were able to kind of keep the environments diverse, you know, and to tackle that and to make them all look believable is really tricky to do. But I think they nailed it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like drawing a blank right now, man.
Are you
I am.
you travel to Mars in your head?
Yeah, that's all I'm
Yeah.
thinking about is just Mars.
Yeah, so there's, let's see here. Yeah, there's a lot to cover though still in the production side of things, but we can transition if that would cycle your brain a little bit more, Tan. We can jolt you.
Yeah, I'm winging it. I'm here. So we can stick to more production if there's other things that you want to talk about.
Yeah, no worries. I think one of the things that I think space movies struggle with a lot of times are the spacesuits. Right?
How so?
In the way that one, you've got to make them practical because they need to actually look like they perform the function that they're made to do. So are they a pressure suit or are they, you know, an environmental suit? You know, it kind of depends on what they're supposed to be doing. Not all suits are made equal. And the best part, do they make them look cool? Like, you know, I think in movies, a lot of times with sci-fi stuff and kind of futuristic spacey things, like there's a lot of risk, in my opinion, with design choice, and costume designers have a very difficult job of making them practical and in terms of the story, like, are they achieving what they need to do, and do they look good? But also the third thing, which I think is the most important, is, are they wearable on set? Like, are they devastatingly uncomfortable for the actor? Because a lot of times, you know, costumes and prosthetics and things like that are just like horrendous experiences for actors. Like, think about Gimli in Lord of the Rings. John Rhys Davies had to wear that face prosthetic for Gimli, and it was like he was having allergic reactions every single day to this like material, the latex material. You know how many years it took them to make all three of those movies? You know, like crazy. So like stuff like that, like, but spacesuits, like, I think they're a really interesting thing. And I'm gonna say this, I think that the spacesuits look really freaking cool in this movie. So I guess basically I would say hats off to the production designers and the costume designers for making really aesthetically pleasing suits that also look like they would function on Mars. Like, they had like field knives and all the gadgets and the lights, and it's like they got the cool designs of the orange and the white. I just think it looks really good.
Yeah, me too. I wonder if like, when I look at the suits, I don't have any background experience with like designing and even like the engineering component of all the little things that go on a suit. But from someone who doesn't know any better, I would look at it and I would say, oh, it looks really cool. But I wonder if there's someone who, if there's like that person who would look at the suit and like, wait a second, that doesn't make sense. That's just a random little trinket or something,
Right.
you know? But I feel like, and you guys let me know in the chat, but I don't know anything about suits, but when I look at it, it's a pretty good looking suit.
Mm-hmm.
It looks official.
Totally. Yeah. Well, and you know, I think the accuracy to space stuff, you know, it's like, would this actually be on a real functioning spacesuit or a costume? Like the rest of the crew in the movie, as they're traveling in space on their ship, they're wearing those blue like undergarments, and you can see the tubes, like the cooling
Those are
tubes
cool.
inside there. Yeah, like that's a real thing. And I love that they paid attention to that and listened to probably their space flight experts,
Yeah.
So I think, again, hats off to their design team for taking notes and not just, hey, this looks cool, but it's like it has no function.
Just picked up one from the Halloween Spirit store.
Some like sweaty leftover Goodwill Under Armour.
Yeah. Yeah, they did a good job. All of the even just like the blue like sweater that he had on that just had like the NASA logo. I felt like everything just looked really cool.
Yeah. And I think I liked how practical the sets were too. The hab modules on Mars, the vehicles, Matt Damon is like climbing on stuff and like tipping practical things over. And I think these days, especially when you're making a space movie, it's so easy to just, hey, we'll just CG that, or we'll make this just a blue box, and we'll just add it later. Like, nope, they stuck them in practical environments, and I think that really matters. Makes you feel like you're there. And I think they did a really good job with the spaceships as well. And obviously there's some supplemental CG, and a lot of that was CG environments, but it's I think they did it tastefully. You can really tell in movies when it's like, it's just a bunch of computer generated graphics, and not really selling it even in 2025.
Yeah.
Gloria in the chat dropping a question for you, Tan, saying, Tan, did you ever go to breakfast in your spacesuit?
Not yet. For those guys that are listening, or maybe you don't know what's going on, I promised that I would go to Waffle House wearing my astronaut spacesuit a long time ago, and no, I have not done that yet. Not yet. There's still some time before the year ends. Maybe it'll happen.
Well, I don't know about you, dude, but I'm thinking podcast from a Waffle House is in order coming up 2026.
Okay.
Yep.
Keep it in my mind.
The Galactic Waffle Space Podcast.
Yep. Let's do it.
My gosh. Well, let's transition a little bit, because there's a little bit more of like I think one of the big questions that you and I discussed a lot, Tan, is how believable is this movie? Like the story, the dialogue, the science, the things that happen. There's a lot that occurs that you have to ask, is that a stretch of the imagination, or could that actually work? And with that there comes a lot of research and discovery for like, hey, these writers probably had to think that one through and do some calculation. You can't just make something up. But what do you think? Like, do you feel like this movie is a realistic interpretation of what it might look like to go to Mars and rescue someone from Mars?
That's a good question. Short answer is I don't know. I think it's it has to be. I would think and hope that it is a mix of like science and then also just creativity. I'd imagine there's a lot of stuff that went behind the scenes to make it look real. Like the first thing that comes to my head is just like, even in the beginning, with that really gnarly dust storm.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if storms can get that crazy on Mars.
Tom Heil in the chat is resonating
Perfect
as
timing.
you're talking about that. Yeah.
Okay.
He said the storm impact is so wrong.
Interesting. So it's like, drama size is just a little extra.
Yeah. I actually did a little digging on that because I was curious, and what I found is quite interesting. So just to describe briefly for you guys, in one of the opening sequences, the whole crew is already on Mars and they're doing their science, and then they get word that there's a huge dust storm coming in, and it's super dangerous, and it's above all the standards that NASA has for them for before they should evacuate. This is basically warrants them leaving Mars immediately, so they have to make this harsh decision to leave. And the reason is because their rocket is already standing vertically on Mars to escape, and if it tips too far, they won't be able to leave. So did some research, found out that turns out the atmosphere on Mars is so thin that actually in real life, they would never have winds strong enough to tip over the rocket, because Mars's atmosphere is actually only 1% that of Earth.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's like super thin, different composition. I think it's mostly carbon dioxide. But it doesn't have that density that we have on Earth. So here's an example I found. So it says Mars's atmosphere is about 1% as dense as Earth's, meaning even at 200 kilometer per hour, which is about 120 miles per hour, winds on Mars exert forces equivalent to that about 25 kilometers per hour, which is about 15 miles per hour. So on Earth.
No way. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a stark difference. So basically they describe it as being a light, summer day breeze. What would be a devastating windstorm on Mars is like a summer breeze on Earth. So
Yeah.
not nearly strong enough to knock over the MAV.
Yeah. Or even just like the people.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I guess it says literally that Andy Weir, who was the author of The Martian, working with the production folks, they kind of had to exaggerate and kind of add a little bit of Hollywood drama by making the wind kind of the enemy here and go a little unrealistic.
Very interesting. I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Pretty cool. I'm trying to think
Like,
of
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, no, go on.
No, you Tan, let's go. Go
Well,
for it, dude. Seriously, all
I
good.
was just trying to think of some other things that just off the top of my head that I would question,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to skip around too. Well, immediately I was like, well, what about potatoes? Like, can you like, Matt Damon eventually finds himself in a situation where he's like, okay, well, if I'm going to survive here, then I have to find a way to consume food. And it just so happens that he's a botanist. Watney's a botanist. So he basically grows potatoes. And I'm just thinking like, I mean, if I somehow ended up in Mars, like, could I do that? Could I just cut up a potato in some quarters and just dig it and throw it in the dirt and,
Right.
like, would that work?
Right. Yeah, I mean, obviously with the like the odd chances that the botanist is the one that gets stranded.
Yeah.
Like if it was the engineer or the commander or the mission specialist or whatever role, like I don't know. I that feels like, it's just writing. Like you just need to have the right people in the right spots to make it an interesting story, and that's fine. It's totally okay. I don't think it breaks the story by any means, but it is definitely a not plot device. Is that the term? Or plot armor? Maybe that's the like the
Don't
main
look at
character. Have
me.
you ever heard that term before? Plot
No,
armor?
first time.
Really?
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's kind of like a nerdy term, but it's like some characters, they just can't die because they have to be protected for the sake of the story. So even the most
Oh,
devastating
okay.
things
That
can
makes
happen,
sense.
but like they always seemingly have a way out. So I think Mark Watney being a botanist in this situation is plot armor. Like he wasn't just the janitor on Mars. Like he's like
Yeah.
the most like skilled person
Super
to
specific.
create.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, gosh. I mean, there's the other thing I think is to ask about what's believable is the psychological trauma and endurance of one single human being alone for what was it 400 something days or whatever 500 Martian days whatever it was in the movie. Is that even possible? What do you think?
That's a tough one to answer because I think, like, when I think of being isolated on Earth, I'm trying to like, and I'm curious, like, what you guys think too, if you're listening and if you're watching. I'm trying to just picture myself just being isolated for, let's just say, a week with no one else, just you and your thoughts for one entire week. And obviously, you don't have social media. You can't, it's just you, and you're kind of in survival mode. I feel like that would be the most gnarliest week. And let's fast forward to a month by yourself with no one else, and then going to hundreds of days. I don't know, man. It's really hard to say. I don't know. I feel like I would break. But humans are like, we're capable of doing some really crazy things whenever we're backed into a corner, or whenever it's you don't have a choice but to survive. So hard to say, but I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think this story ultimately, given the scale of the vastness of the problem, I think it's probably kind of, what's the word? I'm really trying to blank on the proper word, but yeah, it's exaggerated for the sake of the story, and I think it would be very hard to keep an individual alive that long, and to have all these components go so right. Even though they did experience setbacks throughout the movie, the supply rocket exploding, and the hab blowing up, and all those things, like they create some things like that. But I think it's almost too far. But I do have let's bring up some real history here to kind of compare. So when we were sort of exploring Antarctica for the first time, some of you in the chat might be familiar with Ernest Shackleton. Tan, do you know about Ernest Shackleton and the Endurance, the ship that they sailed on? So basically, they were trying to cross the continent of Antarctica for the first time. So there's this guy, literally just like Ernest Shackleton hired a bunch of people. It's like, hey, we're gonna do basically a suicide mission, and we're gonna try to do this for the first time. So, and this is like, gosh, what is it, like early 1900s?
Okay, wow.
So long time ago, over 100 years ago. This isn't like recently. So they're like, or is it? That's when it was. I think they're like literally on a wooden ship, like sailing down to the bottom of the earth or top of the earth, depending on your perspective, right? Like, who are we to judge? But they go there, and their ship actually sunk. They made it, but the ice fields were so devastating that they couldn't break the ice quickly enough, and it actually went under. The whole crew made it onto solid ground, and they actually sent a dinghy, like a lifeboat with a couple of people out, and I think they boated like 600 miles to get rescue. It took over a year, or around a year. They got rescue aid back, and not a single crew member died, and they survived
No way.
alone on Antarctica with limited supplies.
That's fascinating.
Absolutely. Yeah. So like, that's probably the best that we've got, at least that I can think of, in terms of a comparison of like, is it realistic to survive in a devastatingly harsh environment that's remote and disconnected for an extended period of time? So it does lend a little bit of validity to Mark Watney's journey, but do I think it compares? No. I think it's still a little bit extreme. So I think there's a lot of Hollywood influence,
Yeah. Looks like Tom in the chat said that he probably would be able to survive. Tom knows a lot.
Ooh, dang. He said if he has Wilson. Hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on. Wait a minute.
Oh, he's got a prop? Is he going to pull out a volleyball?
Dude, I have Wilson. Look at this.
What? What
Can
do
you
you
see
have?
this? Hold on.
Wilson, focus.
There he
There it
is.
is.
Check it out.
That's so
I have
awesome.
Wilson, the volleyball. Do any of you have Wilson? I don't think so.
That's such a random thing to pull out.
What, isn't it an insane pull? Dude,
Yeah, it is. It is.
I'm so happy. Fun fact. So this movie is kind of comparable to Castaway with Tom Hanks. I loved that movie when it came out.
Great
And
movie.
if you went to Blockbuster when they released that movie on VHS, if you paid an extra $3 with your rental, you got this Wilson antenna ball for your car. It's plastic, and it's got the little thing on the bottom. So back when cars had big long antennas, people used to stick like little ornaments on it. This is a Wilson and Tenenbaum. I literally have it on my shelf because it's like I love the movie Castaway, and like they don't make Castaway merch, dude.
Dude, I was not expecting an actual Wilson prop. That's pretty awesome.
Do not underestimate the power of my weirdness.
So random. That's perfect.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
You're good, man. I love this. Astro Hillbilly says Jurassic Park said it best. Life finds a way.
Oh yes. Is that Ian Malcolm? Who says that? Is that Jeff Goldblum? Or is that Dr. Grant?
I don't know. Just someone said it.
Yeah, right. Yo, our friend Gloria dropping a $4.99 super in the chat.
Thank you so much.
Survival of the fittest, she says, not just physically, but with the will to survive.
Yeah. Sometimes I like think what it would actually be like to be in a like life or death situation. Like my mind kind of goes to like post-apocalyptic, and I don't know, like I feel like I would be able to. I feel like I could be resourceful, I could get creative, and I would have the physical strength to find a will to survive. But obviously it's like, well, it's easier said than done, you know? It's like no one really knows until you kind of have to be in that situation.
Yeah, when I think about what Mark Watney has to do, he's got to grow his own food, or at least try to. He's got to ration what he does have left from the overall crew mission from, the other, what was it, 5 people that were there. But then eventually they cut it down to like he gets like a tiny little slice of bread and like 2 little potato slices or something like that every day, and that's like it, and he's got to survive. What is it, like 400 or 500 days? Not only is that might be enough to survive, but it's not enough to function, right? Like you need a certain amount of calories to just to work, right? Like so, and all the labor that he has to do just to function every day. He's moving heavy equipment and driving long periods of time and all these crazy actions. Like I can't imagine that it's that realistic for him to just simply survive, but let alone perform all these like crazy tasks alone with no support. And that's just the physical nourishment side of things, not accounting for the psychology of your mind, which I think, has some of the largest impact on how your health works, right? He didn't have a doctor either. Like imagine like, not that he's going to get colds, but like, what if your like kidney fails or something like that? Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
It's nuts. So like, I think, your well-being has a lot to do with your mindset and your positivity. And there's a lot of scenes where he, is kind of like alive and like hopeful. And then he has scenes where he's just devastated and hopeless. And those are the kind of things that can get you sick. So if you're not eating a well-balanced diet, I have to imagine that would just like arguably make it the end,
Yeah. But he finds a way. He grows some potatoes. Which is crazy because like he just I don't know, it took a lot of patience and took some poop. And that little device that he created to, have like heat. I forgot what the device was called, but yeah, all of that ultimately just him being so resourceful provided food. And that's something I don't know if I would be able to do. Like if I had to grow stuff, I don't have much of a green thumb, but
sure. Well, I've seen your house. You've got a lot of green stuff inside.
They're not thriving though. They're existing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think what is resourcefulness? Like, Can we maybe like come up with our own definition of it? What do you think? Like, I feel like creativity is a big part of it.
Yeah,
What does it take to be resourceful?
creativity, and then just having the ability to acquire things that could help you, like that could be used as a tool, and
Mhm.
knowing how to spot those items
For
is
sure.
important. Because like, sure, you can find a bunch of rocks, but then like, well, what am I going to do with this? But
Mhm.
being resourceful, I think knowing like what to use, and I think that's where the creative part comes in. Um, he had to use the his feces for to make like nutrients. So yeah, just
Right.
knowing what to find and knowing how to use them, and definitely being a little bit creative on how to just mix everything together.
Right. Yeah. Like there's like textbook knowledge that is a resource, right? Um, just basic survival knowledge, like basic biology and chemistry. But I also think history was like a big lifesaver for him because obviously in this scenario, Mark Watney is a trained NASA astronaut, right? Like he probably has some decent knowledge of what NASA and other space partners have done on Mars, which he leans into pretty heavily. He goes to get that rover from the 90s or that lander from the 90s to communicate, back with Earth. And like it was buried in the sand. Like if he didn't have some semblance of history, he would never have been able to survive because he wasn't able to communicate with NASA without it. So like just knowing, oh yeah, I remember NASA sent this and it's not that far away. I know where it is. I know when it was launched. I know how it works. Like I think that was like such a crazy pull.
Hmm.
So I think more than just, hey, can I count how much food that I have left or how much water I have left? Like I wouldn't, I guess I wouldn't have thought about history being a valuable resource in times of survival, even on
Yeah,
Mars.
yeah. I guess I'm kind of going back, but I like to think that whenever you are just put in those situations, you kind of just have to adapt. You automatically try to reach for every corner of your brain that may contain some kind of knowledge. You're kind of just desperate for any kind of intel that could help you survive.
Mhm.
And in this case, he was super resourceful. There's so many moments where I was like, how the heck did he do that? Even like staying warm inside the little rover, right? Whereas
Yeah.
before he didn't have the ability to use heat. So I think he used like a radiator or something. He used some.
It was the spent nuclear isotope from a reactor, I think,
Yeah. And he wrapped it up, and
or something like that.
yeah,
Mhm.
and it kept him warm. And um, even him just being able to like heal himself,
Mhm.
all of those things.
Can I pitch another weird, unique survival resource that I think Mark Watney uses throughout the movie that we haven't talked about yet?
Yeah, let's
It's
do it.
humor. Uh,
There's quite a
humor.
bit of it.
Yeah, like laughter and joy. You can see how he constantly is like cracking jokes, which maybe is like a characteristic of his persona. Um, but I wonder too, would somebody who had too dry of a personality or was like too dull, would they have had a shot? He was making those little like vlog diary videos and cracking jokes and which essentially was kind of his Wilson, his volleyball that he got to talk to, right? Kind of kept him sane. But he was cracking jokes and making fun of his crewmates and he was trolling NASA with the pictures. He was like, pretending he was the Fonz. And like
Mhm.
I think those moments where he leans into humor, he's cracking jokes, even when he's like Iron Manning out to the ship. Um, he's got jokes, and I think that what a resource to tap into to keep yourself fighting for every last second that you possibly can.
Mhm. Now that I'm thinking about it, like I'm gonna read off a couple comments here. Becca says humor is literally essential to good mental health, and then it's followed by a comment from Astro Hillbilly. He says you have to keep your spirits up. like I'm trying to look at this from like a psychological angle, and I wonder if that's some kind of like defense mechanism when you are again kind of cornered and it's fight or flight, and you are scraping up, mustering every bit of like will to survive. I wonder if your body just naturally says, hey, like things are really tough right now, but maybe I can make light out of it, because that's, to me, that's what it feels like. It feels like it's probably a good chunk of it is his personality too, but perhaps it complements like your body's defense, just to say like, hey, things are kind of crappy, but I think we can leverage this, and take the ease off a little bit.
Right. Yeah. I think I would probably go pretty crazy and be quite the Looney Tune in that scenario.
Yeah, I'm trying to put myself in his shoes. I'm like, what kind of comedy would come out, if I'm trying to find food, trying to figure out how to stay warm, trying to figure out how to make some kind of communication,
Right. I don't know. Chat, we got to ask you a question, though. This one's going to be a fun one. You guys ready? If you guys are watching this live, drop in the chat. Who do you think would survive on Mars, Tan or Nick? What do you, who do you think? And I don't think there is a right or wrong answer. I think both of us have a shot, but just let us know. This is all for fun. There's no winner or loser. We just we don't know.
Well, what do you think?
Oh gosh, dude.
No hard feelings.
Yeah.
Based on like what you know of me, and I'll give you an answer too. If you and I were stranded on Mars, who would?
Well, I think you would survive the warmth because your mullet can be used for a blanket.
That's fair. That's fair.
You're arguably have the warmer temperature.
Okay.
Because you've got more hair than me, so you'd survive the cold. Let's see. I don't know. Well,
I feel like you would. Sorry,
no, go for it.
I was just saying, I feel like I think you would be a lot more resourceful than I would be. I feel like you would have a little bit more know-how on, like, oh, maybe I can grow some potatoes or whatever, And I personally would be just good at like opening up something and like trying to figure out how to like solder something or with like electricals. But
yeah,
I think you would win.
Interesting. Yeah, well, I think you've got a knack for being outdoors too. You like to spend time outside quite a bit. You camp and do all that stuff. I think you have I don't think that's a rarity of occasion to you. So I think your natural sense of being outside and with minimal resources, I think that's something you do on the regular for fun. So I'd say you have a strong chance there, and you're really good at problem solving solutions. Like, I mean, we talked about this in the show recently about you creating there's last week, your meteor shower setups. Like you were kind of engineer stuff really well to suit your needs. Like you would be the Mark Watney creating the water environment and the hydrogen and stuff. You could do that. I think you could figure that out. And so
I appreciate it. Yes.
Yeah. I think I watched a lot of Bear Grylls. I like Bear Grylls.
What is that?
You don't know who Bear Grylls is?
No, it's the first time.
What? Yo, dude, he's like a ex-British special forces guy. Special forces? I said that wrong.
Bear Grylls. Yeah, first time I've seen this guy.
He used to do a show called Man vs. Wild, and I loved that show.
That's him?
Yeah.
That's the guy? Oh, okay.
There was a meme that went around years ago about him drinking his own pee. And it was like, because he used to do that and tell you all the time, like, if you're in a survival scenario, you can drink your own urine for hydration. And the internet meme basically became like, I'm trying to think, like, oh no, like, last cookie in the bag, better drink my own piss. It's kind of the literal meme of it. Like,
Gotta do what you gotta do, man.
The crass language there, but I used to enjoy those quite a bit. So I don't know, maybe I could tap into my inner Bear Grylls and have a fighting chance. I just don't know.
I think so. Like, I'm gonna read some of the chat here. Blue Eyed gave you the vote. She said Nick. Tanzanite said neither. Tom also voted you. Tanzanite
right.
says, I think someone will die first and the other one will get hungry. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, that's rip Nick and Tan.
I was gonna say, did you see how quickly Blue Eyed repealed her, redacted her assessment? Just like, nope, I take it back. These guys are both doomed.
Tan would phone home. I would try to do a live stream and ask for help.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh! Oh, it's such a
times.
fun hypothetical. Well, there's so much about the Martian that is enjoyable. But let's talk about the reality. Like, obviously, this is a fictional story. No one's ever been to Mars. But what is the current standing status of us exploring the red planet for the first time? Where are we at? When do we think we'll go? That kind of thing. Because I think movies like this are really great at incentivizing that imagination, jump starting it, putting the lighter fluid on it. Because you never know. Like, there might be a kid who was like 13 when they saw this movie for the first time, which maybe that's probably old enough. Then they might grow up and be like, yeah, I grew up watching movies like The Martian, and it made me want to just go work for NASA and design this thing that takes people to Mars, or whatever it is. So where are we at? Are we going to Mars anytime soon?
I don't know. Ask Elon.
Yeah.
Someone say
Elon.
he's our shot at Mars, and who knows? Maybe there's like a private sector that steps up, but I personally don't know if it's gonna happen in my lifetime. So let's say like the next 60 to 70, 80 years. I don't know if it's gonna happen. It kind of makes me sad because I would love to be there sitting on my couch, and watching the news and then seeing like, hey, we broke dirt.
Yep.
And it's a normal thing. But
how would you feel if you were literally on your deathbed and you're watching that and it happens, and then you just like croak?
Croak?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I would die happy. I think it would be a way to go. But, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, of what I can see happening right now, I know there was, for a long time, there was a lot of talk, like 20 years ago, like by 2030 we'll have boots on Mars, and there's no way even then in 2005 we would have ever been able to imagine the current status of spaceflight, reusable rockets and constellation networks, and all the crazy ways that we can get people to space with the vehicles we have, and with the private sector being the way it is, like you were mentioning. Like, I think 2030 is completely out of the picture for Mars, but by 2050, I think we'll have it happen in the next 20 years, 25 years.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah. I could be wrong. Of course I could be wrong. So anybody who's watching this in 25 years and was just waiting, like, I'm going to get that guy from that podcast. It's some old Wild West miner. He's got his pickaxe and he's just like, he's got a bone to pick with me. he's just gonna be waiting and he's gonna be grumpy about it. But I digress. Yeah, I think by then it's gonna be pretty safe. I mean, we're just watching SpaceX Starship be developed, and the number of competitors that are right behind, and trying to figure it out. They're going to be copying what SpaceX is doing in no time, and yeah, it'll be much sooner in my opinion. But I think by 2050, that's my safe assessment. So, will it be governments? Probably not. I think that's kind of been the vision for a long time. I think most people imagine, oh yeah, just like the Apollo missions to the moon, it's going to be United States, China, Russia. They're going to be putting boots on Mars. I don't think it'll quite look at that. They might eventually get there, but I think they'll be employing the private sector to get them there. So I don't think they'll be using like SLS, from the Artemis missions. I don't think that'll be the case. Too expensive, not enough popularity in the government, too many problems for people to combat with or compete with.
Yeah, agreed. Well, that's a good like optimistic answer, and I think let's see. I'm just gonna read some of the comments in the chat here. Tom suggests need to send AI robots first. I could see that 100% being a thing. I think if you're gonna try to like mitigate risks, AI is obviously like the thing now. Apparently, it seems like that's kind of like the direction we're headed, whether we like it or not. So yeah, I think that would be extremely smart and realistic, is to, send robots up there before we send human flesh. Let's see, Hillbilly says NASA has a goal to send astronauts to Mars before 2040. That's a bold goal, but perhaps if if people are actually interested in these programs, then I'm all for it. Tom also says radiation is a big problem.
That's true.
I feel like we could probably figure that out,
Yeah, solvable, but a problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm not sure that, those above ground habitation modules like they showed in the movie are the long-term solution. I think more like, if you guys have watched the show The Expanse, which was a fantastic sci-fi vision for humans in space, a couple hundred years from now. The Mars colonies are, mostly underground. There's like tubes and there's buildings and stuff, but like a lot of like the living quarters and the apartments and stuff where people actually just live, are kind of covered by the Martian soil, which is really cool. So yeah, I think that's probably the best way to protect from radiation is to go underground a little bit. So that obviously takes excavation equipment and all kinds of crazy things. So
yeah.
Difficult problem, yes. Impossible problem, no. In my opinion.
Yeah. No, you make a good point. I also really like this comment here from Astro Hillbilly in the chat. He says, look at how far we've come since 1969. Yeah. It's like if you could get a timeline that's super digestible and just get, like send it to some of the people who are no longer here, they wouldn't believe it. They absolutely wouldn't believe it. So who knows? It's hard to say. Right. But you're absolutely right, Hillbilly.
Right. I'm glad you said that, Hillbilly, because this shouldn't be a hot take, but it is, unfortunately. But a lot of people, would say that, oh, we've wasted 50 years since going to the moon. We've done nothing. Why can't we go back? That whole discussion, like, I think the way I prefer to look at it is in line with what you said. Like, look how far we've come. We have moved the needle. No, we haven't put boots on another terrestrial surface like we did in the 60s and 70s. But I think we're doing what we need to do it better. And it takes 50 years or more to do it.
Yeah. People are kind of looking at this really narrow view as like, in terms of like years, like, oh, like, why haven't we done this? There's so many layers to it.
Please do not cancel this guy. This is
it's Tony.
Tony in the chat.
Oh, man.
The biggest troll in space. letting us know that we didn't go to the moon in the chat.
It
I
was
love
filmed
it.
in the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, let's hope that we don't actually ever experience a Mark Watney scenario when we do go to Mars, right? Because that would just
Yeah.
be horrifying for anyone to experience.
Mm-hmm.
Let's if it takes us 60 more years to figure it out in order to prevent that, then sign me up. Like let's not subject anybody to being stranded on a planet alone for 500 days
Yeah.
with no
I'm gonna
hope
pin-
and just potatoes.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to pin one more comment, Nick. I love this. SoCal Gloria says, I saw a man walk on the moon, but I won't make it to witness a man on Mars. Okay. A little sad reading this because I also share the same sentiment, Gloria. I still am not too optimistic about it. But, like, let's say even if I do, I am going to be sad to not be there for the next 100 years, 200, 300. When I think of like the Jetsons, or when I think of futuristic movies and flying cars, I love the idea of that. I love the idea of believing that one day we could get to that point. And it does make me a little bit sad on the inside to think that that probably won't happen in my lifetime. And who knows? Who knows? Hard to say. Maybe by then we'll have figured out some kind of like those like hyperbolic chambers where we can sit in pods and kind of like freeze yourself into the future for just a few payments of 500 grand. Maybe we can do that, but until then, yeah, I think I don't know. I don't know if I'll see Mars either.
Are we going to get like a space Billy Mays commercial, like the OxyClean one commercials in the 2000s? Like, for just 5 easy payments, you can stay alive for 400 more years.
Yeah.
And it'll be absolutely free. Well, it makes me think of that scene in Interstellar where Cooper is sitting on the front porch with Donald, the grandpa, and they're talking about kind of being stuck in this hopelessness. And Cooper was supposed to be a pilot and he never got the chance to go, and he's kind of telling him like, I'm sorry you didn't get the chance to do what you wanted to do, like born 40 years too late or 40 years too early. I love that line, and that's kind of how I think we're feeling right now. Like, no, we didn't. You and I didn't get to be alive for the moon landings, and we're wondering, will we be alive to see Mars landings? Are we proverbially born 40 years too late and 40 years too early, so to speak? Are we caught in the middle of the achievements? So does that devalue our existence? Are we unfortunate that we were born at a certain time, or are we fortunate to be alive in a time where we're developing it? We get the opportunity to develop it to get us to that point. I don't know.
I like that. Yeah, I would lean towards the latter. Kind of being there whenever the seeds are planted and ideas are kind of developing and people are taking this new interest, and being the one to say, oh, I was there whenever the ideas were like blossoming. Obviously it would be cool to kind of fast forward and be on the other end. But like as of now, I think it's kind of cool. I think it's awesome to know we've done cool stuff, and to think that there are still really cool stuff that are going to happen hopefully sooner than later.
Mm-hmm. I think there's something to living in the time of anticipation, right? Like, we are anticipating going to Mars as a species, and that means so long as we haven't, there is hope and inspiration and creativity to be achieved and discovered, which ultimately will lead us to the end goal. Like, humanity will find a way. But I think once we've been there, what's next? Like, will it be the same level of drive and anticipation that we get to experience right now? Or will we feel like we've achieved it? What's left? Like, nothing to go on. Will the spark die out? So I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel that way about being too young to have experienced the moon landing. It's like you and I will never know a time where we haven't, where the humans have never been on another surface like that. That was a couple decades before us. So I don't know. Like I feel like we missed that time of anticipation. But ours is just for Mars instead of the moon.
Yeah.
It's a wild thing, space.
Yeah, you got my juices flowing. Now I'm like in deep thought of. There's all kind of questions running in my head.
Mm-hmm. Man, well, let's turn to the chat then. Let's just ask one of the probably the simplest questions of the night. You guys in the chat who are listening, if you had the opportunity to go to Mars and you could be given an opportunity to come back, it would take several years to go there and come back, at least 4 years. What would you do? Would you go? Let us know in a comment. And if you're watching or listening afterwards, find the video on YouTube and leave us a comment in the comment section and let us know what you think. We'd love to hear your input.
I have a random question for you.
Okay.
What do you think is scarier for you, Nick? Dying alone or being forgotten?
Oh. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it's one of the questions I just thought of whenever we're thinking of just Mars and
like being forgotten as in your legacy being forgotten, like you're dead and people in a couple hundred years have no idea about who you are.
Correct.
Gosh. Well, I'd probably want to say it'd be harder to. What was the question? Was which would I prefer? What was it? How did you word it?
Yeah, like, well, what do you think's scarier?
Scarier. Okay. Well, I think probably the first one, dying alone, because that's when you're actually alive to feel scared. I won't ever know or feel the loss of my own legacy or memory. So probably the first one, just on that factor. But what do you think?
I don't know. Like, I want to lean towards the first one. I think dying alone is scary, but now that I'm thinking about just being forgotten, it kind of makes me sad too, and that is also terrifying. Because I do want to leave a legacy. I want people to know that we had this podcast many years ago, and I was once a guy who streamed the stars for people. I don't know. That's a tough one. They both suck. And I hope it's neither of those. I want there to be an option like C, like none of the above. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick the first one, dying alone.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's a lesser of two evils decision, that's for sure. Well, maybe let's put the cherry on top on this conversation. And let me just ask you, Tan, like, what's your favorite moment for the movie?
Whenever he's bagging on the music, the disco music, honestly. It wasn't like a significant moment, but I love how it was kind of mentioned periodically, and there was a time where he was starting to dig it. It was the I think Hillbilly, I think you mentioned it earlier. It was like I forgot the name of the character, but it was her mixtape.
Yep. That was like a huge humor component, and one of those psychological like spikes of I don't know, excitement. That's like, hey, a little bit of angst sometimes is not a bad thing. It gave him a reason to keep fighting.
Yeah. And then if I had to pick like an actual like moment, it's got to be the part where he had to poke a hole in his suit to use that as a way to kind of like thrust himself and like navigate in space to reach the astronaut so he could safely get out of there. That part was just extremely stressful because you literally only have one shot. And it's not even a guaranteed thing too. Like imagine if that hole was punctured too much or something by accident. Like, you know, he would have gone too far. And too little, he couldn't have time to write. So that was probably one of my favorite scenes just because I was on my toes the entire time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that ending sequence there, yeah, with him Iron Manning himself across space to get to the ship is probably the most like, what is it? There's another term for it. It's like suspended reality or, gosh, no, not suspended. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Where it's like, yeah, you kind of have to like stretch your imagination to kind of go with it, but it's a cool moment for sure because it's a visual spectacle of like, is he gonna make it? It's the most tense thing ever. Is it Commander Lewis? Is that her name? Like Jessica Chastain's character? Like she's like maxed out on her cord, and gosh, yeah, that's such a cool.
It's a beautiful scene. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a beautiful scene.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think for me, it's the when he's first communicating with NASA using the like rotating camera with the whiteboards and spelling stuff out, and he finally sees them move it, and they say, "Yes, we're receiving you," and he's just like, "Yes,
yeah."
And he's looking at Earth in the sky. He can see it, and he's like freaking out, like hoping, like he doesn't care how dumb he looks. That he's like screaming at the sky. They're not going to hear him, but like the humanity of that moment is so like tangible, and you just want to cheer for him too. You want to jump up and be like, dude, he freaking did it. Like it's insane. I think it's one of the coolest moments, you know?
Yeah. You feel that like instant relief.
Yep. Like there's finally a chance. Like he's completely in the dark until that first moment.
Yeah.
There's a glimmer of like, okay, we have something to work with here. Now let's get on with this, you know?
Yep.
But it's so good.
Yeah, that was a good scene.
Mm-hmm. All right, dude. So what do you think? Should we call that the bow on the discussion of The Martian?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah. Good deal. We appreciate you guys tuning in tonight live and in the live chat. And for those of you listening afterwards, thanks for learning and discussing The Martian. Phenomenal movie. We'll always recommend you go give it a watch for sure. And we also, of course, want to remind you, that we're going to be doing episodes like this again, probably like once a month is the pace and cadence that we're going to be doing this. So if you have any recommendations for space media to kind of do a deep dive into, let us know what you think. Do you have anything that you would like to hear us discuss at length for a whole episode? It could be a movie. It could be a video game. It could be a book. Maybe it's an album. Yeah. Music, right? Like media. That's kind of the thing. I think there's a lot of it, and media inspires us to think in a different way and to explore space in a different way. So it shouldn't be disregarded. So that's what we're going to be doing, which I'm excited for the next one. We haven't decided what's next. So suggestions welcome.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know.
Gosh, there's a lot going on. Tant, we're wrapping up the year too. 2025 is coming to an end, so we only have 2 episodes left of the year, which is exciting.
That's weird to think about, man.
Yeah. What's coming up next week?
The 22nd. We're gonna do our Christmas episode, which is so crazy to say because I felt like this year I told myself I would try to be on top of the holidays, and once again, it's the other way around. So, yeah, next Monday, the 22nd, will be episode 67, and yeah, that'll be our. Oh, whoa!
Too soon. 6, 7. Yep.
Yeah, that'll be our Christmas episode, and then we're following it up with the 29th, and that'll be our last episode of the year, the New Year's episode.
Mm-hmm. New Year's
special. Yeah, and that's right, Becca. We also will be doing a members only live after the podcast on the 22nd. So we wanted an opportunity just to kind of like actually hang out with you guys to we know whenever we do these live streams, like we see you guys in the chat, and as much as we love to just treat it like a normal live stream where we just read every single comment and just talk, it can definitely make it a little bit tough on the listeners as well. So I feel like on the 22nd, if there's a time that you guys actually do want to just like hang out with us and have the chance to just like hang out, we're going to do our first one. So the Christmas special, it's going to be our members only live. And then again, after that, we'll have one last episode to wrap up the year.
Well, let's be super clear too. Like the Christmas episode is our normal episode, but the members only live is after, right? So it's two separate live streams.
Yes. Yep.
Just to make sure everyone was like on the same page.
So we'll stream for an hour. Then after that, we'll close it and then have a separate stream just for the members.
Yep, just for the members. So if you are not a member and you'd like to be part of that, you can click the join button on the YouTube video right now, and it's $5 a month on a browser, and I think it's like $7.99 or something like that on mobile. So they kind of upcharge you, but just a way to support the show, and you get a perk like that where you get to hang out with us and have a little more of a laid back discussion. If you guys want to check out other episodes of the show, we have amazing lineup of episodes. This is, of course, episode 66, which I have yet to play this.
Execute Order 66.
I had to make my Order 66 reference. How could I not at some point in the episode? 66 whole episodes to get interested and excited about space. A lot of them are me and Tan just discussing really, really interesting topics, but also we have a whole lineup of special guests going all the way back to 2023, 2 years of shows. So if you're interested, find one for you and give it a listen in your free time. But we're excited to see you here next week for episode 67 for Christmas.
Yep.
Boom.
Cool.
Last thoughts, Tan? Anything?
No, I'm good. Super grateful as always every week for you guys showing up. Big shout out to our moderators as well. Thank you guys. And of course, our channel members and anyone that's listening to us. We hope you continue to listen. And one thing I kind of want to add, we love feedback. Any feedback is just the greatest thing. It's better than no feedback. So, if you guys ever want to let Nick and I know anything, please do not hesitate to let us know. And then also, we love suggestions too. Like, hey, I would love if Nick and Tan talked about this one thing. Or, hey, you know who would be a really cool guest to have in the show? This person. All of that helps immensely. And even if you aren't a channel member, if you're just a listener or a casual viewer, please let us know. I feel like we're pretty chill and we're open to any feedback. So don't be shy. Let us know if you have any suggestions. And if there's something that you don't like, or maybe you're just not a fan of, also let us know. We have thick skin. We'll be able to handle the criticism. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight.
But if any of you tell me no more Matt Damon sound effects, I won't be able to handle it. But
I hate everything.
I'm kidding.
That's funny.
But yeah, well said, Dan. Well said. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you watching and listening. And of course, you know the drill. We will see you all on the other side.